Hey everyone, it's the Tuesday edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. Welcome back, and before we get to the current weather, just wanted to start with a little tidbit of information here. Of course, it's been a very cold winter. It's been very icy on the lakes this winter, and right now our total ice cover stands at 77.4% on the Great Lakes as a whole. Now, of course, our closest lake to the valley is Lake Erie, and right now across Lake Erie, we're seeing some substantial breaks, especially on the North Shore, but it's still solidly frozen around Toledo and out towards the west end of Lake Erie, where it's a little shallower. But aside from a fairly big gap right here on Lake Michigan, boy, there's still a lot of ice on most of the Great Lakes, with the exception of Ontario, which, as you may know, is one of the deepest Great Lakes and usually has a real hard time getting a full layer of ice on that lake because it is so deep. So just a little tidbit there. By the way, we peaked at, I believe, about 92% ice cover on the lakes this year, making it the highest number going back 20 years. And, I've seen some stats that suggest that maybe the ice cover was as thick or as widespread as the late 70s. So, yeah, a sign of how cold it's been this winter. All right. It's been a fairly sunny day so far. I'm recording this at about 2:20 p.m., So far, so good, but our luck's about to run out. The sunshine is fading away as we speak. And I zoom in on the local area here and let the radar reload. We're going to show you that the sun's going away and some snow showers are heading our way. These snow showers and even some, fairly hefty squalls are lining up in the western suburbs of Cleveland, just west of I-71, west of Mansfield, west of Columbus, back towards Dayton and Springfield. And this is what's going to track our way. And as we've been kind of advertising since last evening, this is going to be a problem for the valley for most of us between, say, 5 and maybe 7:30 this evening. First places to get, of course, will be the western areas. The last places will be the eastern areas. And we're not expecting a lot of accumulation out of this, but sure, we could get some coatings, particularly on non-paved surfaces. With the sun and temperatures getting back into the mid-30s today, the main roads are going to have a real hard time seeing snow stick on them. But non-paved surfaces, your car tops, your grass, perhaps even some secondary roads, could be a coating of snow out of this evening. So just watch for some slick spots if you're out between, say, 5 and 7. Let me put the radar back in motion here. I'll zoom back out, and we'll get a broader view of things. We're missing out on the real beefy nor'easter that's starting to really crank up offshore. That's what's producing the rain down in North Carolina, Virginia, and some decent snows up towards D.C. and Baltimore right now. My internet connection's a little slow today, so I'm just going to stop the animation from loading. As you can see, there's some pretty decent snows down there towards the nation's capital. But our Alberta Clipper system swinging through behind it. You see these blotchy areas of snow showers out in Indiana, Illinois, Michigan. We'll expect that then later this evening. I don't think we see much accumulation out of that, but there'll be some lingering flurries, if you will, for the rest of the evening tonight. All right, let's talk about the rest of our forecast then heading into the future. I'll bring up our simulated radar first and show you what we do expect to have happen as we go into tomorrow. And the answer, of course, is not much. I'm going to start this off with tomorrow morning. Again, by this point, our flurries are pretty much gone. Now, look what's happening offshore. I'm going to show you a few more things related to this. This big nor'easter will have really cranked up overnight. I'm going to throw on the pressure analysis here. And this is what we call in fancy meteorological jargon, bombing out. This system is deepening so rapidly that it's becoming a meteorological bomb. It's kind of a slang term, yes, but you're going to hear that occasionally on the news, the Weather Channel, whatever you might be watching. The good news for coastal sections of New England is that the worst of the snow and the worst of the wind is going to stay offshore and actually impact parts of Atlantic Canada, southeastern Canada up here. But nonetheless, if you have relatives or friends out on Cape Cod, Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket, they're going to get a blizzard for a time tonight into tomorrow before that storm pushes away. This is just really impressive to look at on the pressure analysis. Let me take off the predicted radar and actually bring up the wind speeds here at the surface. And the scale over on the left, those numbers might be a little hard to read. But what we're seeing here in some of these orangish colors, just west of the center of the low, that corresponds to somewhere between 68 and maybe 78 miles per hour. That's getting up to hurricane force. Category 1 hurricane starts at 74 miles per hour. So for all intents and purposes, the wind field with this storm is not that dissimilar at all from a Category 1 hurricane, and all of this is moving up the Atlantic seaboard. This is tomorrow morning. By tomorrow afternoon, we'll skip forward to about midday tomorrow. Let the data reload here, and here's the surface pressures coming back up. And you're going to see a very impressive storm here once again. I mean, just look how tightly packed together these isobars are. And this is just really cool to look at to me. This is meteorology at its finest. You're seeing something that doesn't happen that often. It's a really, really neat visual. And again, you're seeing oranges in the wind field here, and that corresponds to, up in the 70s in miles per hour wind speeds offshore, thankfully, with this during the day tomorrow. All right, so enough with a system that primarily isn't impacting us. What about our weather? Let me hit reload on this. I'm going to show you the latest and greatest European model, which is still coming in at this hour, and I'm going to let it reload. Tomorrow is a cloudy start to the day. I think we see some sun midday and afternoon, particularly west of Youngstown. Clear and cold tomorrow night. Here's a look at Thursday's map, and I think clouds will tend to increase during the day Thursday as a southwest wind develops. We're going to warm up Thursday. We're going to get back to average, which is now 50 degrees. Hard to believe that our average high has risen to 50. At the start of March, our average high is 40. So it's definitely a transitional month. So Thursday is a warmer day. Most of the rain holds off then until Thursday night and Friday. Here's daybreak on Friday. Low pressure over Detroit, cold front back here, warm fronts up in here, and there's going to be some showers that break out on a few occasions Friday in this warm sector. We should get into the 50s, I would think, on Friday with a real gusty wind at times. Now that's going to clear out. We're going to get a break in the action for Friday evening and Friday night. And if you watched this video yesterday, I was saying, hey, the GFS model's bringing in rain now Saturday. I'm not sure if I believe that. Well, the other models have come in line. The GFS, typically not one of our better models, but it's leading the pack this time around. It had this idea first, and now the European model's catching up to it. It's going to be a wave of moisture that comes up on Saturday, and several hours worth of rain looking likely on Saturday. So better part of the weekend this time around. Definitely looks like it's going to be Sunday. I think we see the sun Sunday. I think temperatures are going to start to rebound nicely. I'm still optimistic that we hit 60 or higher then Monday afternoon. Maybe not quite as warm as I thought yesterday. 66 was our forecasted high for Monday yesterday. 66 might be pretty optimistic, but I'm still pretty confident of at least 60 during the course of Monday. The long-range temperature trend, not great. I think this might be a tad too cool. The model might be predicting a little too much cooler than average weather here, but you'll notice, well, here's our black line in the middle denoting average. Lots of the next 16 days forecasted on this model to be below average, including this big chunk right through here during the first 10 days of April. Again, I'm not sure that it's going to be that consistently cold. That remains to be seen, but I am pretty confident that we're not going to see much sustained, milder than average weather through the first couple of weeks of April. Yep, we're going to have a couple of mild days here and there, but a 5-day-in-a-row stretch of 50s and 60s, that doesn't look so likely at this point. So hopefully we can enjoy the warmth that we'll have Friday, even though it's going to rain some, and then the warmth that we'll have early next week, because it's going to be, little islands of warmth in a general sea of below average temperatures, it looks like, through the first half of April. Wish I had better news there. All right, anyway, that's weather for Weather Geeks on this Tuesday. I'll see you on the TV side tonight on 21 News at 6 and 11.